awareness, knowing your emotions. Then the other thing is knowing your personality. Many people, we have different types of personalities. Some people, there are two types of personalities. There are those ones who are extroverts and introverts. So these extroverts, they are divided. They are into types. They are sanguines. Are you a sanguine? Then when it comes to introverts, there is what we call the melancholic. So having self-awareness will help you know your personality types. So once you know your personality type, it will help you even when it comes to thriving in life. So for you to thrive in life, you also need to know your personality type. Am I a sanguine? Am I, a choleric? Am I phlegmatic? Or am I a melancholic? A sad person or sad. To some people, they're always outgoing. So this is the importance now of self-awareness when it comes to knowing your personality. This is what it involves. So once you know your personality type, for example, there are those people, with who are introverts. They are not outgoing. They don't love associating with people. They are always indoors. Yeah. So if you're an introvert person, then you find yourself working as a sales lady. This is the kind of work that you find. You work in an environment where there are a lot of people, or maybe you're invited to this wedding, then you're an introvert. So having self-awareness will help you adapt to such a situation. You learn how to handle people. You learn how to behave when you're around the people. Like mostly those people who are the sanguines, they're used to laughing, they're used to bringing up stories. So if you're an introvert person, you feel irritated, but once you're having this self-awareness, you know your personality better and how best, you can be able to relate to others. It will be helping you not to be getting offended. Then the other thing is knowing your values. You get to know your personal values. You get to know your priorities. What are your priorities in your life? Many people, they'll say, no, my first priority is my relationship with God, or my first priority is my mental health. So once you know these values, it will help you never, to lose focus when it comes to these values. If you don't know your values, you easily lose track. But once you are having this self-awareness, it will help you not to lose track. You always stay focused, and even if you find what's challenging in life, it will never bring you down because you know your priorities. You know the things that matter to you most. Self-awareness. The other thing, you get to know your habits. So the habits, these are just behaviors that as individuals, human beings, we repeat routinely, something that you always do. It could be eating, it could be playing soccer, anything, singing, maybe anything that you can enjoy, that you can think of, that you always do. That's a habit. So once you're aware, you know that certain habits, they are not okay. When it comes to habits like eating, many people, they've gone into eating disorders because of these habits. So once you're having this self-awareness, it will help you know how to control your habits so that you can be able to accomplish your goals. The other thing is your needs. This is what is also involved in self-awareness. So you get to know your needs. The psychological needs that every human being deserves. A need of affection, a need of attachment, a need of self-esteem, a need of belonging, for you to belong somewhere, feeling like you're heard. These are the needs that as human beings we need. The need of power, the need of feeling that you're in control of something. So if you're having this self-awareness of your psychological needs, the things which are important, in your life, it will help you so that you can be able to accomplish them. Many people, they've set standards for them. They're saying, no, me, I want to have an expensive car. I want to build many houses. I want this kind of job. But because they are lacking this self-awareness, once they fail to accomplish those things, many people, they go into frustration, some they go into depression, some they are having these, different mental health illnesses, some even commit suicide, failing to accomplish their goals, So you need to know your needs. Yeah. The other thing, you need to know your goals and your beliefs. What is it that you believe in? So we've seen that self-awareness involves a lot of things. Your emotions, it involves, your needs, your goals, your beliefs. We've also seen that it involves knowing your personality types. Now, there are just some questions that you need to be asking yourself, where you are right now, you're at home, maybe on Facebook, you're watching this live, you need to ask yourself this question: who am I really? Try to give yourself a moment, it could be a minute, try to reflect. Who am I really? Am I just Corvinus? What is it that is involved in knowing myself? You won't just start defining yourself by a name. You have a lot involved in defining who you are. When someone asks you, who are you? You won't just say, I am Corvinus, because you know your personality type, you know your emotions, you know your needs, you know your goals, you know your values. So it will even add more value to your definition because you know yourself better. Then you also need to ask yourself this question, like, am I holding on to something I need to let go? So once you are having self-awareness, try reflecting right now. Are you holding on to something that you need to let go? Many people, they are having, anger issues. You are holding on this grudge to someone. You are holding on to a pain. Someone injured you. You are holding on to this. You feel depressed. You're holding on to a lot of things inside you. Once you're having self-awareness, it will help you know that, no, I think it's enough. This is high time. I let go of this grudge that I'm having, so that you can improve your well-being. So self-awareness will help you know how to handle such kind of issues. If not now, then when? Ask yourself this question: if I'm holding on to someone who injured me, my partner wrongs me, my mother told me something very bad, my friend did me wrong. Many people, their friendships, they've ended because of holding on to grudges. So self-awareness will help you with that. So this is what you need to do whilst you're watching this show, or after this show. You need to start reflecting. You need to start meditating. Then the other thing that you need to do, you need to ask yourself, what is it that matters most in my life? Many people, they're into drugs. Many people, they're addicted when it comes to sex. You are having these eating disorders. You need to ask yourself, what is it that matters most in my life? So self-awareness will help you know the things that matter most in your life and how best you can be able to accomplish them. Now, does self-awareness play a role in the mental health illnesses? Does it play a very big role in these mental health illnesses? The answer is yes. Self-awareness does play a role. For example, people who are having these mental health illnesses like depression, bipolar, anger issues, personality disorders, post-traumatic stress disorders. So all these illnesses, some people, they've gone into them because of lack of awareness. You fail to control your emotions, sadness, it persists for 2 weeks going up, you've gone into depression. But once you're aware, you know how to control your personality, you know how to control this sadness, so that it shouldn't take you into depression. Self-awareness, very vital when it comes to mental health illnesses. It will even help you how to beat the depression that you're having. It will help you know how to manage that financial challenges that you're having. It will help you get through that grief that you're having. If you lost your loved ones, if you lost weight or anything, you lost money, self-awareness could definitely help you. Now, why is self-awareness important in someone's life? Why is self-awareness important in my life? Ask yourself this question. Take a moment. Why is self-awareness important in my life? I'm sure you've responded already. That's a very good answer. But if you're having a challenge, when it comes to responding to this question, you don't need to worry, because I have a lot installed for you. You are going to learn this skill and you are going to benefit from it. So self-awareness is important in someone's life for personal growth. So for human being to grow, there are a lot of things which are needed. You don't just need food, even your mental health. It matters for you to thrive in life. Your social life, the way you interact with people. So all these needs, they are important in your growth. So once you're having self-awareness, it will help you know how to manage all these angles. You are going to eat healthy and you are going to feed your mind with right messages. Many people, they start judging themselves, they condemn themselves because of lack of awareness. Then once you start judging yourself, once you start condemning, I'm a bad person, I can't do things in a good way, I'll never improve. So such kind of messages you tell yourself, they'll make you depressed, they'll make you lose self-confidence. You are going to start hating your body, your body image. You have a low body image, so to say. So if you're having this self-awareness, it will help you with your personal growth, because you know the things which are needed for you to thrive in life. Then it will also help you to have, a good, healthy, like when it comes to lifestyle habits. Many people, they've gotten this HIV, AIDS, STIs because of their lifestyles which are not okay. They engage themselves in illicit sex, they start abusing drugs, you start doing things which are bad, stealing. So once you're aware, it will help you to abhor, these bad habits, so that you can concentrate on good habits which are beneficial to your healthy. Then self-awareness is so important because it will help you have empathy, in your life. You have empathy for yourself. You also have empathy for others. You'll be feeling for someone without necessarily dwelling someone's problems, which is very good. Now, why is self-awareness important in counseling? A client comes for therapy. Why is this self-awareness important? So self-awareness is very important because, if a counselor is I'm going to put myself in this client's shoes. I'm going to understand the experience that my client is going through. I won't start judging my client, no, but I'll try to understand, try to put that situation that my client is having into me. I'll try to picture, if my client is having this, if she's really depressed, this is how she's feeling, this client that you're having is crying, I'm going to put myself into this client's shoes, and I'm never going to judge my client. I'll even know, how to communicate till we reach a very good goal. So, self-awareness is very vital when it comes to client and counselor relationship. Now, how do people with self-awareness handle these issues? Wherever you are, if you've got this skill, if you already know this skill, how do you handle these, challenges, the issues that you face in life? So once someone is fully self-aware, you know how to handle certain life situations like stress. You know how to handle stress if someone utters a bad word on you, if you lose a job or if you lose anything which is very precious in your life, you know how to handle such kind of a situation because you are having this skill with you. So self-awareness is very vital. It will help you know how to handle issues. When you're at work, it will help you know how to talk to your bosses. If you're a boss, it will help you know how to talk to your workers, which is very important. Yeah. So now, how do you develop self-awareness? So you can develop self-awareness by meditating. You can write a journal, or you can plan the priorities that you need in your life. So how can you improve self-awareness within yourself? So there are a number of things that you can do. You need to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses. You understand and talk about these needs and feelings to others. Once you do that, it's going to help you. Then you also need to recognize other people's needs and feelings, meaning that having empathy and see how that behavior can affect others. And then you need also to develop, a growth mindset and learn from those mistakes. If you've been making mistakes, you can learn from such. Then you also need to set boundaries. You don't need to be saying yes to anything. You need to set boundaries when it comes to people. You need to know the triggers. Yeah, so thank you very much. So we've seen how important this self-awareness is. So wherever you are, you can be able to develop this skill. You need to reach out to me for therapy. You can call me on 0964 94 15 90 so that we can discuss more about this skill. Thank you so much. So if you want to learn more about this skill, you just need to reach out to me or to reach me on my Facebook page, Heart and Soul Transformational Therapy Center. You've been with me, Kovines Mwenga Counselor. See you next time.